Hello friends, TechMan Pat here. Hope you're enjoying your long weekend. I'm actually talking to the folks in the eastern states this time. It's done and dusted for us here in West Australia. But like I mentioned in my last video, I'll be over in Sydney for the next week for the 30th anniversary of ASUS. They're actually putting on an event with a whole bunch of tech journalists joining and letting us see some awesome new gadgets that they've got in store for us. So make sure you're subscribed to not miss out on those highlights. Alright, let's get into this week's news update. It has been a busy week. Lots of interesting things afoot, from potential fines for our favorite NBN Co to Netflix kind of screwing us over again, and then the banks not passing interest rate cuts. But now that I say it out loud, it doesn't really sound like news, especially banks. They never do. And one last thing, a new Southern Cross cable network to connect us, New Zealand, to the US. So let's start with Netflix. It's been a long journey for Netflix to get to Australia, and that's not to say we didn't want this. We certainly did, and like some experts say, it's caused our internet problems from 2015 onwards. But now Netflix is in the crosshairs again. You may remember that a few years ago they raised all their prices by almost 20%, and I personally didn't really care because it was still cheap and still provided great content to watch. It kept me entertained throughout the month. In fact, back then it was still the most well-rounded platform. I know people made a fuss, but in the end they were basically a monopoly, and a price hike like this was something we could not do much about. And I don't think they lost any customers then. Let me know if you did leave them back then. This time around they're going after the premium plan. The premium pricing allows you to have 4 concurrent streams, 4K content, not that there is much of it. And actually, if you want to check out how much NBN juice you need to run those 4K content on Netflix, then check out my video about that. I'll have the links in the description. All this costs us $17.99 per month, and many families, friends, and roommates were all chipping into that one plan. So the plan has now gone up to $19.99. So 20 Australian dollars. Now you may be sitting there wondering, what's going on? Why did Netflix raise the price of that premium plan? Well, here's what I think. First off, you get 4 streams, meaning you and 3 friends could pay less and use Netflix than if you bought that Netflix subscription individually. Secondly, you could be using more data from Netflix because of the 4K content. So their costs go up. So putting that together, you have a plan that on paper looks great for the customer, but not so much for Netflix. So what do you do with a plan that is costing you more than you are making? Well, you raise the price to try and get people off that subscription and subscribe to the lower plans, meaning basically they're trying to split up those 4 people watching into 2 billing accounts, so in total they'll pay more, those 4 people. For now, the lower tier plans have not been touched, so I don't think this will affect a lot of people. A couple of things that you need to tick off to watch 4K Netflix is either a PC with the latest Intel chips running Netflix on Microsoft Edge, or a 4K TV with Netflix 4K built in, like the actual software. And of course, a good internet connection. Now, let me know in the comments below if you have been paying for the premium subscription, and why do you have it? Is it for the 4K content or the 4 streams that are available to you? Anyway, the National Broadband Network, can't live with it and we can't live without it. Unfortunately, we don't have much of a choice, but what protections do we have for when the NBN screw us over or causes so much inconvenience that a person might struggle but a business could suffer greatly? Well, it seems that there is something brewing in the air. Finally, the ACCC is going to do something about it, following a near 2-year inquiry into NBN Co's service standards. The ACCC has completed its final draft of the Access Determination document. Last year, the ACCC had threatened NBN Co with daily rebates to its customers based on faults that were taking too long to fix or installation delays, similar to power companies paying you back for food that went off in your fridge during an extended power outage. Well, those threats have come to fruition. We finally have some action, at least coming soon. The ACCC made this statement. We consider that NBN Co should take clear responsibility for connecting customers in a timely manner, and that is appropriate to provide incentives for this through the introduction of daily rebates. So what's this rebate? Well, first of all, I would rather call it a fine, because that's what it is. I know it's a rebate for the customer, but I like to think it's a fine for NBN Co. The ACCC is going to hurt them for being lazy, or rather just basically putting them on notice, because the amounts are not that much, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So, for those who have been complaining about NBN Co delaying the connection, you're in for a treat. NBN Co is set to be fined $13.50 per business day, capped at $270 for late or delayed connection to its network. So you won't end up paying for maybe around 2 to 3 months worth of internet bills with nothing to show for it. I certainly think that it is fair, but your ISP shouldn't really be charging you anyway. For those who are experiencing extremely bad connections, you will rejoice. I mean, it's not as good as getting the problem fixed, but now there is an incentive for NBN Co to fix that problem as quickly as possible. So for those with slow fault fixes, you'll get up to $30 a day, capped at $1,150. Now let's keep going. I have seen a lot of comments from folks where the NBN technicians just don't turn up when they're supposed to. Well, fear no more. They will get what's coming to them. NBN Co is going to be fined from $25 to around $75 for each missed appointment, and all of which must be passed on to you, the consumer. Round of applause, everybody. Come on, that's great. And let's not forget about our dear brethren on NBN Co's wireless network. Ooh, we've got some news for you too. You too will be getting a rebate, and NBN Co will get fined, which I really like. I just love that they're getting fined. They will also be forced to pay $20 each month for congestion on the fixed wireless service, as well as for fixed line services that fail to meet certain minimum speed objectives. Now, what are those minimum speed objectives? Well, last we checked, it was 12 megabits per second down on fixed line and not the 25 megabits that was promised. So we're not quite sure. We'll have some news for you soon in regards to that. In fairness, these fines are not extraneous. They're not there to completely destroy NBN Co, but at least light a small fire. And that ACCC has noted they do not want to impact NBN Co to the point of bankruptcy. But let's also put it this way. If NBN Co does their job correctly and on time, they won't get fined. You won't get your rebate. But that's not to say that if NBN Co doesn't do their job, they shouldn't be punished. So where did the ACCC come up with these amounts? Well, to put it simply, they did the average of a 6-month internet bill. For example, $45, worked out the most faults should be fixed within that period. But also the total amounts are the actual amounts that NBN Co would make in profit when they would continue to bill you. Here is what they said. We consider that a potential rebate amount equal to 6 months of revenue for a typical service represents a meaningful financial incentive for NBN Co to resolve a delayed connection while ensuring the cost impact is proportionate. Well, what's NBN Co got to say about this? Well, a spokesman said, "It's in our best interest for consumers to join the network as early as possible, stay connected, and ultimately take up higher value services over time. We are concerned the draft determination announced today by the ACCC will not drive the right improvements in customer experience and could lead to unintended consequences if rebates are not passed on to consumers." And whenever a company gets fined for something, you know what they do? The spokesperson picks up a how to respond to fines playbook and reads out my favorite line: unintended consequences. Look, I'll leave that with you for now. Let me know in the comments what you think about NBN Co getting fined and you potentially receiving the rebates. Are there going to be any unintended consequences? Finally, before I end this video, let's quickly chat about the new Southern Cross Next cable. A good sign of things to come, for sure. First announced a few months ago, the building of the Next NEXT cable has started, with Telstra and Spark from New Zealand buying into the venture. The Southern Cross cable will connect Australia, New Zealand, and the United States directly, or at least add on to the existing connections. So why is this important? Well, Telstra might just start marketing this as, hey, join Telstra and you will get their high speed and low ping into the US. Though to make their investment back, Southern Cross will be leasing that highway out to other service providers. So let's keep an eye on that. We'll update you as we know more. The 13,483 kilometer cable is due to be completed in 2022. Friends, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this week's update. Quick reminder, and I will be covering the ASUS event, their 30th anniversary in Sydney this week, so stay tuned. That'll be around the 9th of October. And if you enjoyed this content, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and bye!